does that sound? Why am I hearing sounds? Why am I hearing sounds I should not be hearing? All right, TikTok is on its way, but we're gonna start. I hit the button already. I didn't even know. I got things going on over here, over there, but we're gonna start. And I'll start off with good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And oh, look, TikTok is already ready to go. Yeah, uninstall. I don't care. Let's get TikTok Live going. Bye, bye, bye. Goodbye, bye, Miss American Pie. I drove the Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys are risen, whiskey and wine, saying this could be the day that I die. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This could be the day that I die. Yeah, we're a little behind this morning. What are you going to do? Trying to get TikTok going. All right. I'm back. Let's get to the comments. We're up on TikTok Live. We are ready to go. I already said good morning, good morning, good morning. So we've already started. And here we are. October 21st, 2025. It is 6:40 a.m. 10 minutes late. The heck is wrong with me? Man, the time between 5 o'clock when my alarm goes off and 6:30 is the fastest hour and a half of my day. I wish my entire day at work. Let me just be specific. Before we get into like the movie Click, I don't know if anyone's ever seen the movie Click by Adam Sandler. One of his, let's get the order out of the way. One of his less popular movies, but a great one nonetheless. And my account needs attention. Oh no. One of his less popular movies, but it's a great movie. If you haven't seen Click, you should watch it. And not just for Salma Hayek. I think Salma Hayek is his romantic interest. Adam Sandler did it right, man. He was just like, I'm just going to make movies. I'm just going to stick all my friends in it and make them as goofy as possible, film them at the most exotic locations that I can. And I'm always going to make my my romantic lead like the hottest girl I can possibly think of. Like, could you have done it any better? And then I'm just gonna play basketball in my gym shorts while late into my 50s. I think it was Saya Hamek, 2006 film. Kate Blanchett, Sale. That was not. Was that his wife? I'm thinking of a different movie where it was Salma Hayek. That might have been whatchamacallit? Grown Ups? Where was Salma Hayek? Anyway. Yeah, I guess it was Kate Blanchett. Well, Kate felt like Kate Beckinsale. I'm saying her name was all messed up. Not like she's not a hottie too, but anyway. Good job for you, Adam Sandler. You've lived a great life. So the point of the movie Click, by the way, it's not that Adam Sandler has some beautiful woman play his counterpart, his wife, all the time, but is he basically he's like getting passed over for promotions, and he's having a hard time with his kids, and he's trying to do all kinds of stuff, and he goes to Bed Bath and Beyond, and he goes into the Beyond section. Yeah, if I'm ruining the movie, it's been out for 19 years. You should go. Probably should have seen it by now. But he goes into the Beyond section, and he gets this magical Christopher Walken is in there. Great casting, by the way, and gives him a remote control, and he's able to fast forward through the parts of his life that he's that he doesn't enjoy, right? He fast forwards. And so every time they get in a fight, he fast forwards. Every time he doesn't get a promotion or he's got to go to work, he fast forwards. When his kids are doing something that's boring, he doesn't want to do it, like, their soccer game or whatever, he fast forwards. And eventually what happens though is like things starts fast forwarding on their own, right? And he's like, wait a second, I didn't mean to do that. And Christopher Walken shows up and says, well, the remote learns what you like and don't like, and he just misses so much of his life because he was fast forwarding through it. And there's a bunch of other stuff that goes on as well, but it's funny. But the point of the movie is, to enjoy the journey, enjoy it. We tend to think of life as a journey from point A to point B, and the whole point is to get to point B, but it isn't. Alan Watts talks about this. He says, the point of a dance is not to get to a certain spot on the floor. The point of the dance is to enjoy the dancing, right? He's like, and life is a dance. It's a dance. It's not a journey. It's not, what would be the journey? What would be the goal? To get to old age and die? That's the end, right? That's the end of the journey. So that's not the point of the journey, right? It's a musical thing. The point of music is to enjoy the music. It's not to just play one note and get done with it as fast as you can. And just like dancing, just like music, just like stories, just like everything, the ups and the downs and the conflicts and the struggles and the silent parts are just as important as the musical parts. The downs are just as important as the ups. As I say from the other movie I enjoy so much, which is Vanilla Sky, which I was trying to find. Actually, that's what I was doing. I was trying to find a reactor to watch Vanilla Sky, but I like watching old movies, but watching them on YouTube with a reactor, like somebody who's never seen it. I really enjoy watching people see things that I've already seen for like the first time. Like I watched several: Popcorn in Bed, Mr. L. Boyd, Amber Charity. I'm trying to think of the people I watch on YouTube reactors, and there's the Canadian, the Maple Nuts or something like that. There's a couple of the Canadians there. I watched them watch Game of Thrones, and I watched them watch all kinds of movies that I've already seen in the past, and I enjoy it because, number one, I don't have to watch the whole movie, right? Because I've already seen the whole movie. So and they edit it down to like 40 minutes, so it could be a good reaction video. And they cut out all the parts that I don't have to sit through, and then I get to see them react to the movie that I loved, and I don't have to watch the whole thing, and it works for me, and I get to enjoy it again and enjoy somebody else enjoying it. So I'm trying to find somebody who watches Vanilla Sky. But in Vanilla Sky, they talk about the sweet is never as sweet without the sour, right? And so when you're going through this journey of life, the hard parts, the long parts, the toilet parts, the parts that that you feel like you don't want, they're a part of it. Like they make the reward so great. Why is like the Super Bowl such a great thing? I know some people who've actually won Super Bowls, and in football, and it's like after they win, like I can only imagine what the elation is when they win, like right when they win, and the celebration, and to be call yourself a Super Bowl champion for the rest of your life, and all that's wonderful. But once the elation is gone away, they're just like, what's next? One of my friends who won a Super Bowl, like he owns like a car dealership now. It's like the point of it is to strive. Why the reason why it's such a special thing is because it's so hard to do. There's so much. I can only imagine. I watch football on Sundays, And having played football in college and never played on a professional level, but I can just imagine what their bodies go through and how much pain and that they deal with on a weekly basis. Like, we don't even think, like, it's Tuesday now, I'm not going to think about football players, but they're going through practice, they're installing game plans, they're working out and getting treatments, and and just recovering. We see injury, like when you see football and you see an injury that's taken someone out of the game, that's the only injury we think about, but we don't realize all the bruises. And I was watching Jawan Jennings, I think, from San Francisco. He's playing with 5 cracked ribs. Like, he got five cracked ribs, and he's out there still playing, right? If my side hurts, sometimes I wake up in the morning and my side hurts a little bit. I'm like, oh, could you imagine playing football with 5 cracked ribs? So all that work, right? That's the work. And that's what makes the Super Bowl such an amazing award. It makes it such an achievement, such a thing. So, and it doesn't have to be a sports competition. It's you put the time in with your kids, and you work with them to learn something, and they finally get it. And you sitting there and trying to teach it to them, and them not getting it, and them going to class and not doing it, and then finally it clicks for them and they get it. You get that reward, you get that feeling like, wow, like it was worth my time. But if you don't put the time in, if the kid gets it right away, then you didn't have to put any time in, and you're like, all right, well, my kid's smart, right? So the work is a part of it. It's the silences are just as important as the tones when you're talking about music. If it was just that doesn't make a great song. What makes a great song is the beats in between, the silences in between that accentuate the beats. The highs can't be as high without the lows. And so when you're in that point in your life where you're just struggling, or you're just going through something, now there's a difference between struggle because you're just not doing what you're supposed to do and you're just giving up, or struggle to get to something like I've been on here for 2 weeks now talking about the struggle of my job, and and just how, like, being in a 9 to 5 for me is totally new, and just sitting in a chair and making phone calls and for 8 hours is crazy for me. But it's getting easier, right? And I'm seeing some success, and it's just, and I'm thinking about, as a sales manager, I'm going to have to train other people to do this. And so I'm thinking of, as I'm going through this, I'm like making notes, and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to have to train other people. I'm going to get other people prepared to do the same thing. Is there 10 people in here in the TikTok? Good morning. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. You see my goals down there below. We're going to talk about that in a second. But it's like I go through the day, and I'm just like thinking, like, how am I going to prepare somebody else to go through this? And so I have to be successful. And yesterday was kind of fun. Something I had a quote that I had to send out to somebody, and I sent it to them, and then I called them to follow up on the email I sent. And I completely called the wrong person. I called the wrong school. And the guy was like, oh, you know what? I was actually just about to send a quote to our other vendor, but a request to our other vendor, but maybe you can send me over a quote for the same thing. And I could see of the price. So I might have got another sale out of making a mistake, right? But the funny thing is, like, I spent all day calling schools and doing this. That happened at like 3:00. So from like 9 to 3, like, it was just doldrums and doldrums. And then every once in a while, a gold nugget comes out of it. And so just understand, as you're going through things, and I'm talking mainly to myself, but talking to all of you out there, as you're going through the day, as you're going through those times, and whether it's the day, whether it's a week, whether it's a month, 6 months, I've said this before on Morning Matters, we all love the montage. We all love the Rocky montage, or the montage where, just 5 or 6 months go by and they just work out every day. And you're like, man, and they do it in like 20 minutes or 10 minutes or sometimes 5 minutes in the movie. And it's like, okay, now they're better, right? Now they've learned the skill. Now they're a karate master. And we want to skip through those parts of the work. But in real life, that work is a major part of it. It's a part of how you get there, and it's a part of that makes it special. I always say if everyone could do it, then it wouldn't be special. It wouldn't be important. Everybody can get up. Well, let's not say everybody, right? I was going to say everyone can get up every morning and put their pants on. But there are people who can't, right? Who would appreciate that, who would love to have legs again, right? But most people get up in the morning and they can put their pants on. So nobody's like going into work like, I put my pants on today, yay, and excited about it, right? Because everybody can do it. It's easy, right? So you can take pride in the things that take pride in the work, pride in the time that it takes, and and the search and the journey, and enjoy the journey, even if it's hard. Even if it's not fun. Understand the reasons for you doing it. And the reasons for you doing it are your goals. So let me pull up my goals as we do every morning. Oh, the birds. The birds are finally out. I don't know what I'm going to do in the winter without the birds. So every morning we have right outside my window, there's a bunch, none of you can hear it, but the birds go crazy. They chirp and they yell at each other. It doesn't even sound like fun. It sounds like they're fighting, but they have joined us this morning. The sun has just peeked over the horizon. And as we get ready for this wonderful day, good morning, Butterfly on Stereo. So every morning we do this on Morning Matters. We go over our goals. And my point of me going over my goals is not for you to really care about my goals, but it's for you to understand goals, set goals up yourself, and take the time to go over your own. Live the day with intention, live the day with a purpose. Live the day, be proactive in your day and not reactive in your day. And, a lot of times we get so wrapped up in the activities of the day, or the things that are going on, or the fires we got to put out, that we forget, what we want, what this life is about, that we want to see, that we are the authors of our book. And that's what goals are. They're written down. When somebody writes a book, they don't just start writing, right? They don't just write and then all the words come out and then everything's done. They understand the end, right? It's like you watch, I just watched Better Call Saul, right? And it's like, wow, that was so smart how they did this and how they did that, and how they came. Well, what happens is the writers, they already know how it's going to end. Saul's going to win the case, right? And then they work backwards from there, right? Somebody told me once, if you want to have an amazing life, start with your eulogy, right? What do you want them to say at your eulogy? Do you want them to say, this was a charitable and kind person? Great. Then now you can orchestrate your life in that manner. You can start being charitable and kind towards people. If you want to say this was a wealthy person who built an empire, great. Now you know the end, right? So now you got to work your way backwards. And that's what goals are about. You set goals so you can thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts, everyone. But you set goals to say, here's what the end is. Here's the ending I want. And so now we work backwards and say, what do I have to do to get there? And that's how you plan out your life, and you plan out your day, and you can have a well-meaning intention life, right? So as far as goals go, I always say, language is important, right? And and it's important for us to communicate. The purpose of language is that we all agree on the words. Words only have power when we all agree on them. If I call this thing a mouse and you call this thing an apple, we're not going to be able to communicate very well. All right. So we have to agree on what words mean. So whenever I have debates and talk to people about things, I'm constantly saying, well, what do you mean by that? It's like, oh, do you believe in God? What do you mean by God? I say, what's your definition of that? Would you think this? Well, what do you mean by that? Okay. So clarification is really important. So when I say goals, I don't mean dreams or wishes or desires. I mean a goal, right? And for me, what I mean when I say a goal is it has three things. It has to be measurable. Meaning you have to be able to say, I did it or I didn't do it. Okay. So you can't say something like, I want to make a lot of money. To me, that's not a goal. That's just a wish, right? I want to make $100,000 this year. That's closer to a goal. Actually, that's 2/3 of it. But the first thing is has to be measurable. I want to lose weight. No, I want to lose 25 pounds. Okay, better. All right. So the first thing, it has to be measurable. Second thing is it has to have a timetable. All right. When is it going to be done? It could be 1 month. It could be today. It could be a month. It could be 3 months. It could be 6 months. It could be a year. It could be 5 years, 10 years, whatever. But it's got to have a time. It's got to have a time where it ends. All right. So now you can say, because people think with goals that they have to hit their goals. If I don't hit my goals, then I'm a failure, and we're afraid of failing. Right? It's been taught to us since we're little, like you messed up, you failed. And it's funny because we say these things to like children. We say things like, it's a failure is halfway point to success, and just try again, and this and that, and then we just forget that we're children who just lived longer. Right? And it's like we all these lessons we try to teach kids, we forget that the lessons are for us. Like we should be taking these lessons, right? Like there's no difference. You are just a kid who kept living. I'm a kid that's been around for 49 years, right? But I just have more lessons, right? And so, but the lessons don't change. Like what I would teach my child is what I should implement in myself, right? And so the things that we say, if I heard someone, like especially when we have negative speak, like if I heard someone, like I catch myself sometimes when I have some negative speak to myself, and I say, if someone was saying this to like my child or a family member, talking to me the way I'm talking to me, I would punch them in the face right now. And so therefore I just punch my mental person who's talking bad to myself in the face and say, don't talk to me like that. How dare you? How dare you? Right? So I know I'm on a tangent. It's early in the morning, right? So yeah, so we're back. So the goals, right? So number 1 has to be measurable. Number 2 has to have a time frame. And number 3 is it has to be written down. You have to write it down. So if you haven't done these things, do them today. Today, take out a piece of paper, come up with some things you want to see in your life, pick a time when you want to see them, and then work towards them, and then work towards them. And then at the end of the timetable, you get to say, I did it or I didn't. And if you don't do it, then you say, failure is feedback. You say, oh, what happened? How come I didn't do it? How can I improve? How can I see this in my life in another year, in another 3 months? What adjustments do I need to make? What haven't I done? So, we have a comment from Stereo. Let me play it. Hold on a second. I don't have my speaker on, so I don't know if you'll be able to hear this comment, but we'll play it anyway. Let's see how we do. Play.
Hello, panel. Hello, listeners. I hope all is well. It's so crazy. I just got through writing my goals on my wall. Not even 10 minutes ago.
Very nice.
I love the show.
Love it. Yeah, I do this show. By the way, I used to write them on the wall. I should write them on the wall again. I have my calendar. I have a 4-month calendar on my wall, and then I put the dates of things when they need to be done, just so I can see that. And I do have a blank whiteboard that I should write my goals up there. But this is why I do Morning Matters. Do I do it for? I don't do it for clout. I don't do it for followers. I don't do it for any. I hope my side mission is that hopefully I give some people some motivation and whatnot. But the reason I do this is I don't have it on my wall, but every morning I want to wake up and talk about my goals and remind myself of why I woke up and remind myself of what I'm going to do today and the purposes for it. So yeah, that's great. Write them on your walls. See them where you got to be able to see them, and give meaning to the madness, give meaning to the activities, the daily grind that we go to get there. So awesome. I'm glad. Wow. There's no way okay. Another comment. Let's see if I can hear it. Sorry if it's low. By the way, we're on, for those of you who don't know, I do this every morning, 6:30 to 7. It's already 7 o'clock, but I did start a little late. So I got to read the goals off and then get moving. But so 6:30 to 7, I do this every morning. Morning Matters. And then on Sundays, please join us for Cosmic Matters, where I talk about philosophy and space. It's the philosophy of life, who we are, and I do a bunch of universe and talks. And we just did episode 9. You can also check them out on Spotify under Cosmic Matters if you'd like to see them. We've done a lot of great episodes there. This past one we did this past Sunday was when you say you, what do you mean? What do you mean by you? I forgot the exact title. I kept changing it. But we got 2 more messages. Let's play them real quick.
See, I wasn't raised like that, but I've always budgeted. I didn't know I was budgeting. I thought I was just making a chart to try to make me understand my money. But now I'm trying to save up. Now I'm going to save up for a trip to New York for me and my daughter. I've never done this before.
Nice.
So how do I save? Like, trying to figure out how to do that.
So, well, here's what I will say. The how is not as important as the why. See, when you have a strong why, there's actually a book by Simon Sinek, and there's actually a talk by Simon Sinek on YouTube if you don't like reading, which is called why can't I think of the name of it? It's something about why. Oh my goodness, that just pissed me off because I watch it all the time. Now I gotta look it up. Can't build something up that much. And start with why. That's what it's called. So and when you have a strong enough why, like take that so what I would do is sit with your daughter, talk about New York, pull up some videos in New York, figure out how much the airplane cost is, and visualize the entire thing and the trip and how much fun you're gonna have. And you're gonna, I don't know if you want to go for Christmas, you're gonna see the tree, we're gonna go here, we're gonna do this, and put all that energy into it, and make the why strong. And then as strong as the why is, then the how will determine itself. Like if you really, really want it, how will occur, right? Because you'll figure out, I'm gonna, you know what? Hey, do I want to go and do I want to eat this expensive meal today, or do I want this money towards this wonderful trip? Do I really need Hulu for this month? You know what? Let me cancel that because I really want to go on this trip. Like the how will show up. That's what I figured out about this. When you have the strong enough goal, when you have a strong enough endpoint, how it's going to happen. Like right now, like I said, like I read my goals. I'm going to read them in a second because I read them every day. And I thank you, by the way, for coming in this morning and asking these questions because it's firing me up. It's getting my mind going. But but I started this when I started Morning Matters. I didn't even have a job, right? I was writing down, I want to make $160,000 in the next year. And I didn't, like, I was quitting my job. I didn't have any other job lined up. I didn't know how this was going to happen, but I knew why. I knew the whys. And now all of a sudden I got, this is what, a month later, 3 or 4 weeks later, I have a job that has the ability to do it. Now I still don't know how I'm going to do it because the job, I'm only having a base salary of $70,000. I got to come up with another 90 to hit my goal. So I don't know how that's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen. I'm going to work towards it. And, and I got to build a sales team, and I have commissions. I have ways that I can get there. So what I'm saying is that I can't give you here's do this, do that, here's the plan, but I can tell you, if you make the why strong enough, you will come up with the how. All right, we got 2 more messages. I'm never going to read my goals, but I appreciate the messages. It's actually better than reading my goals. Let me do this one first, and then I'll come back to Nanya.
Good morning. Good morning. I just wanted to add that in addition to having a goal, that if it's truly important to you, I think the word that most comes to mind for me is making the commitment, committing and remembering to commit
to the things that I want as much as others want me to commit to the things that they want in needing my assistance or what they desire from me. So I would say commitment. And so having commitment as one of your goals for yourself.
Yeah, and where the commitment comes from is the strong why, right? Like, you'll never see someone lose weight like a woman who's trying to fit into her dress for her wedding, right? so if it's a strong enough why, then like this is so the commitment comes from I call them disciplines, right? There's a quote from the late great Jim Rohn that discipline is the bridge between your present and your dreams, right? And so the discipline of getting up each morning, doing these calls, following my sheets, and you can use the word commitment to it. But the thing is with the world, you need the reminder, right? Because we get through the day, we go through things, and when I'm making phone calls, like I don't remember the things that make me strong. When you're at the gym, you're walking, and you got to get up and you got to do it again tomorrow and the next day, or jogging or lifting weights or whatever it is. The goals help that commitment, right? Because it's easy to be committed when you're feeling good. Right? It's when you wake up in the morning, you don't want to do the things you want to do, you have to do that. That's when these goals and your whys are most important. All right, I got Nunya's got another one up here. I like to play everyone's messages.
Last comment, I promise. But the FDCI website has a Money Matters game, and it's like 14 courses. I took it. It's really good.
Oh, cool. Yeah, okay, I'll look that up. I do a lot of wealth talk, but not on Morning Matters. I should do a Money Matters. But all right, let me read my goals, because if I don't read them, I'm not going to be able to end. And I really appreciate you ladies being in here this morning. I appreciate the people on TikTok. I appreciate everyone joining me. I do this again every morning, 6:30 to 7. Sometimes I go long. It's like I am right now. All right, so let me read them real quick. By the way, you can find me on Philosophy Man 76 on TikTok and on YouTube. Or live both on those as we speak. So if you actually want to see these things, you can see us there. And I love the subscribers as we try to build a community of prosperity and in this crazy world that's going on right now. So I'll read this off real quickly. Things I will accomplish before I turn 50. All right, so that's September 13th. I would say 19, just tells me how old I am. 2026. So I started doing this, by the way, September 1st when I started doing these. But earn $160,000. And the supporting things for that 160 is decrease my bad debt by $25,000, buy $10,000 of Tesla stock, save $7,000, and raise the credit score by 150 points. So I had gone through a whole bunch of financial struggles. I lost my job because of downsizing, and the company went bankrupt, blah, blah, blah. And so I had to eat into all these things, my debt, my credit card. So we're fixing all that, is the objective there. Health, get the weight down to 250 pounds. Average blood sugar, I am diabetic. So my average blood sugar, I would like to get under 150. Complete a half marathon, bench press 315 pounds, and squat 225 for 10. So that's why we do the bench. That's why we do the push-ups and the squats every morning. I didn't do it this morning because I woke up late and I had to run over here to start this. So I'm going to do those squats and those push-ups right as soon as we turn this off. So there we go. Those are the goals. That's Morning Matters. Nunya, thank you for being here. Thank you for people who are listening. Hopefully your day is amazing. This is Morning Matters. I'm Matt. And hey, D-Warren. I got somebody new in the comments. We're just wrapping up, though. We're actually late at 7:12. So want everyone to get off to their day. And we'll be back here tomorrow, 6:30. I'll be on time tomorrow, 6:30 to 7. Starting our day in the right way with Morning Matters. I'll see you all tomorrow.